What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Tuesday's Late Night Agenda, where we weren't supposed to have a show, but you've probably seen the news on social media, and I knew that we were going to have a chat about it, so I decided we'll jump on today, do a stream, and we'll take tomorrow off instead, sit back and watch the Newcastle and Arsenal game. Right, look, I've got to start off this stream by saying to people, this is not me, Anfield Agenda, or anybody else associated with us saying about the contracts, but it's such a big development that we have to come on and talk about it. So of course I'm going to speak about Anfield Edition's post today regarding the situation with Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. We're going to try figure out what we think about it together. Hand on heart, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm as in the dark on whether this is true or not as anybody else. So we'll try and figure it out tonight. We'll talk about Gutierrez as well, somebody who Liverpool have been linked with at left back. We'll talk about Chelsea's owner pulling some shenanigans and lots of other bits and pieces over the course of the next, 90 odd minutes or so. So if you are coming in, it isn't my story. Again, I'm not the one making these claims. I can't stand over them, nor can I deny them. I don't know. So there we go. Hopefully we can kick that off in good form, and let's see what you guys think of it. Let's go with that. So look, there's loads for us to get through there today, loads of housekeeping as well. We got the confirmation today that Jayden Dan's loan to Sunderland has been signed off and agreed. He's also signed a new contract to keep him at Liverpool Football Club, but he has to get some treatment at the AXA training centre before he goes to Sunderland to start playing. He has a bit of a back concern that needs to be sorted out, and then he'll be going to Sunderland for the remainder of the campaign. We're also going to be giving you news tonight as well about an injury to Ben Doak that's going to keep him out for a little while. And finally, we got some good news around Trent Alexander-Arnold and his situation. Trent will be out for a matter of days, which is brilliant news. Days, not weeks, certainly not months. The club are hopeful that he could take to the pitch again for the Merseyside derby against Everton coming up next Thursday. Obviously, next Wednesday, my apologies. This Thursday, it's the League Cup semi-final against Spurs. Then it's the weekend against Plymouth Argyle away in the league, the FA Cup, which of course Trent probably wouldn't have been involved in. And then it's that big one next Wednesday at Goodison, the final Merseyside derby there. Right, I'm about to give Craig one last chance. Again, I'm about to remove you because once again, this has nothing to do with me, so piss off. I'm not putting up with anybody's crap today. I'm here to talk about a story. It is not my story. I did not make this story. I did not write the story. I did not post about the story. I'm not a goddamn journalist, as I keep trying to tell people. Not my fault if you can't interpret a thumbnail or title. I'm not a journalist. I'm a fan. I'm here to give you my take and ask you for yours. So I don't want your chance. You can stick your chance up your hole. I'm not asking for a chance. You're nobody to me. So don't come in and try and make out like you do me some damn favour, bro. I don't care. Gloves are off. I'm looking after me from this point onwards. Right. Let's get stuck into it. So let's start off with, I guess, well, do you know what? We're not going to start off yet about the contract situation because I want more people to come in and then we'll go through it all in more detail. But one thing that has been confirmed today is Liverpool's final bit of business for the window and what is and isn't happening. So the incomings have been confirmed as none. The outgoings, Marcelo Pitaluga, Fluminense on a free. Tom Hill, Harrogate on a free. Calvin Ramsey, Kilmarnock on loan. Stefan Bajcetic, Las Palmas on loan. Cade Gordon, Portsmouth on loan. And Jayden Dan's, Sunderland on loan. So they're all confirmed Liverpool's bits of business for the winter window. Now the window was closed, we can concentrate on the remainder of the campaign and look ahead. So tonight we're going to give you lots of stuff from journalists promising the big summer. We're going to ask, do you believe that or not? And then we're going to get stuck into the massive claims made by Anfield Edition. And I will be back in just 83 seconds. As soon as we play this ad from our sponsor Surfshark, we will get stuck into it. So don't go anywhere. As soon as I press the right button. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data, such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month. Simply scan the QR. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and as promised, we're going to get straight into it. So, what are these claims about? Who made them? And are they reliable? I think they're the three questions that we need to try and figure out today. So let's start off with the claim. And let's start off with where that came from. So, claim made today by Anfield Edition, who is one of the aggregator accounts on X or Twitter, whatever you'd like to call it these days. And they made a very bold claim. Now, Anfield Edition aren't some little Johnny ITK with no followers. They're a big account, heading for 500,000. And they've said, exclusive, we understand that both Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have put pen to paper on new deals to extend their stay at Liverpool. Now, it goes on to say that the club don't want to announce it because of the added pressure it would pile on to Trent. Then LFC Laurie, who I'm sure a lot of you guys on social media would know as well, he quote tweeted this to say, this is not my exclusive and I've absolutely no inside info, but I have been advised that the source is very reliable and wouldn't put his reputation on the line if it wasn't true. I believe this 100%. Then we have another fairly prominent social media poster, Graham Kelly, who posted to quote tweet it as well to say, was done by New Year's Day apparently. Fowler said it best, done, but they don't want the Trent question. So the claim seemed to be that Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah have already signed on the dotted line and extended their Liverpool contracts. But the club don't want this in the public domain because it would pile pressure on Trent. Now, I don't understand that part. I don't know if it's true. I have no idea. Like everybody else, I'm hoping that it is. It is a very big, ballsy claim to make that has had over 1 million views on it today alone. So, let me know what you think. It kind of rhymes in or chimes in with what Robbie Fowler said recently. But it's a big claim to make. It is a very big claim to make. And it's one that I cannot say yes or no to. I don't know. I've asked around today. We've reached out behind the scenes, the journalists, to other fan accounts. And nobody seems to be able to confirm or deny. Some people have said they don't believe that it's necessarily true, but they don't know. So all I'm going to say is it is a big claim to make. I hope that they're right because it's what I want. It's what we all want. And it would certainly take a bit of stress off my shoulders knowing that Virgil and Mohamed are there for next season because that's what I want. So we'll go through all of that tonight. Let us know what you think. Do you believe them? Let's ask that for the first poll question tonight. So if anybody has any questions, please do fire it into the chat because we're here tonight to try and get to the bottom, figure it out and see how we're all feeling about it. Be respectful towards each other and we'll all get along just grand. If you don't believe it, that's absolutely sound as well. But this isn't an Anfield Agenda claim. I'm just putting that out there. Right, so I'm just going to ask, do you believe the contracts are sorted? The ones we're speaking about. So maybe I should make that a bit clearer, to be fair. 1 second. Cool. So the question is, do you believe the Salah and VVD contracts are sorted? Yes or no? Hand on heart, I don't know. Jen, thank you, Jen, for gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Really kind of you, my friend. Or too dippy, or drippy is it? Said, love the streams, hope you and the family are well. Thank you, bro. Family are good. Family are good, thank you. And thank you for being with us as a member as well. And those memberships Jen have gifted have gone to Gary Egan, to Nathan Tarr, to Reese McVeigh, to Dylan, and I think there was one more somewhere that I've missed. Aryan as well. Thank you, Jen. That's really kind of you. And thank you for your email as well, Jen. It was lovely. Right, so Abdi said, if VVD signed a new contract for Liverpool, he could be our Holland news, because of the national team captain. Is the club worried about Trent? I'm only bringing this up because if there's no worry, they wouldn't hide it. Yeah, look, that's the part I'm trying to figure out myself. I just don't see the downside to announcing it, right? So I get the club maybe don't want the pressure on Trent, but I don't really have much sympathies there, to be honest with you. Trent's free to make up his own mind, as I've said all the way along in this process, and I'm not here to tell Trent what to do, but I do want these contracts sorted, and I do want Liverpool fans to know about it. So for me, if the claims are true, say it. And if Trent doesn't sign on, that's up to him. You know, we can't wait around forever on this situation. I don't see the harm in announcing the two deals personally. I think it would put a lot of people's minds at rest, and I think it would let us enjoy the rest of the season. I certainly would, for me anyway, and I can only speak from my perspective. I would feel a lot better about life as a Liverpool fan and the remainder of this season, knowing that the lads' futures are sorted. IFI Must said, so Craig, not only is Trent being quiet over his own situation, his silence is possibly delaying any potential Mo and Verge contract news. Can somebody give me a thought process on why you think the club may not want... Because, you know, he's not the first person to say this, or excuse me, this account isn't the first person. Robbie Fowler was speaking about it similarly recently and had a similar thought process. So I guess the question that I'd have is why? Why be concerned about how it impacts Trent? You know, I don't get that. And I'm not trying to say I don't get it because I don't care about Trent. I mean, sincerely, I don't understand why you wouldn't put it out there. I don't see how it adds more pressure on Trent. He's free to make up his own mind one way or the other. Andrew Webb. Craig, please keep me in your thoughts. My brother passed away yesterday. Oh my God, man, I'm so sorry. Obviously, Andrew, you're a regular poster. You're regularly in here. I know you're on a wind-up with that, mate. And I certainly will keep you in my thoughts, mate, and in my heart. I'm not a religious person, so I'm not going to say to you I'm going to pray for you, but I will be thinking of you and your family. And I'm incredibly sorry to hear that. May your brother rest in peace, sir. And yeah, sincere condolences from all of us. Copite said, Trent's a grown man and a professional. Why would it affect him? Exactly. And look, no, that's going to sound... No, do you know what? Who cares? Who cares if it puts more pressure on Trent's shoulders? I don't give a damn. Because there should be pressure on his shoulders. Because he's dragged this situation out long enough. If he wants to stay, brilliant. If he doesn't want to stay, I don't see how the club keeping the other contracts quiet is going to change anything. It'll just make the fans feel a little bit more manipulated, in my opinion. You know, we are grown-ass people. Let us know what the situation is. Because, you know, I can only speak for me here, but it's made me feel much more relaxed if it's true about the situation, because I want these boys to be here for the next few years, and I want our succession planning to involve Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah at the club for 2 or 3 years, and then giving us time to really succession plan for their eventual replacements and give them time to assimilate into the group. Tanya said, Trent's easily replaced. I do want him to stay, though. So I don't know if he's easily replaced or not. I think I understand where people are coming from on it, but he does have a set of skills that are not freely available to most other football players. But I guess it depends on what you want from your right back, Tanya. And I would say that I think if we lost him, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. You know, I'd be disappointed like any other Liverpool fan. I want Trent to stay, but I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. But if we lost Virgil and Mo right now, where the squad currently is, I'd feel far more stressed about that. Andreas, thank you, mate. Appreciate your support, sir. Thank you. Ryan said, I've no idea why they don't announce Mo and Virgil. It'll relax so much of the fan base and allow us fans and Arne and the team to enjoy us being top. I could not agree more with you on that one, Ryan. It would definitely make me feel, and you've said the same for you, and I'm sure many other people in the chat will echo that sentiment as well, about it making us feel a bit more relaxed. Even just the idea of it has made me feel more relaxed, and I don't know if it's true yet. Rain said, kind of makes sense. Why else did Salah stop talking about his contract in the media so suddenly? Much love to you, and this community means a lot to me. Thank you, sir. It means a lot to me as well. Actually, do you know what? I don't know that you're a sir. Thank you, my friend, is probably a fairer one. And yeah, man, thank you. I said man again. I don't know if you're a male or female, but thank you, my friend. And it definitely makes me feel a bit more relaxed. But again, I'd like confirmation on it from, you know, a journalist, the club, anyone, to just let us know, yeah, we can start enjoying it now. Stevie Boy said, I believe it's true. Also believe that Trent is going. Look, my gut feeling feels the same about Trent, but I have to keep saying I don't know it to be the case. I don't know what he's decided. I don't know if he has decided. But yeah, I hope it's true. I hope it's true, because it'd be a huge boost to the Liverpool fan base to know that our captain and our potential record breaker, well, further record breaker, is going to be with us. Only thing I can guess for keeping it secret, Craig, is possibly fans turning against Trent. But to be fair, he's probably doing that himself if it's true. See, that's my point as well. If Trent wants to go, delaying it further isn't going to change people's thought processes on it. Because the longer this situation has gone on with Trent, the more I think it's worked negatively in people's views towards Trent anyway. So, like I've always said from day one in this scenario, come out, be upfront, be honest, and own it. If you decide you want to move on, come out, be honest about it, and enjoy the rest of your time. Enjoy the remainder of the season and focus on winning the league, the FA Cup, and everything else we can win. And it's up to fans then to make up their own minds about how they think the situation has gone. I won't hold any resentment towards Trent. I just want honesty. I just want people to be upfront. So if Trent's decided he wants to move on, brilliant. If Trent's still negotiating and they can't figure it out yet, but he's open-minded to both, come out with that as well. But don't deny the other two lads and the fan base the, I guess, release, if it's true. Soren, how are you, my friend? Said, hey Craig, it makes sense that they've already signed, and why have they not brought anybody in to replace them? In my opinion, Mo and VVD are the most important. I agree. In the short term, I think Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk are definitely the most important. Because I think they're the toughest to replace. Trent's a bit of a unicorn, a bit of a generational talent of a footballer, but he suffers a little bit from Jimmy Milner syndrome in my mind, in that he's very good, but the set of skills needed for this one particular position, I think that they can be filled by others. Now, they won't, like if it's Conor Bradley as an example, he won't have the ball passing ability of Trent, the crossing ability of Trent, but then again, nobody else is. So for me, if Trent's gone, I think we'll be okay at right back, but maybe we do need a little bit of creativity somewhere else. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans have been mentally preparing for the idea of two of the three staying and maybe Trent being the one to go. But again, we must point out nothing has been confirmed. Alex, thank you for your super chat, mate. Appreciate you. Alvin said, hi Craig, same old from management. No new signings, no new contracts. Isn't it time to say somebody needs to get fired already? Well, look, let's move on to that. So there's been lots of posts today from journalists around the situation, and I'm going to spend some time reading some of these out to you now. So we'll start off with James Pearce of The Athletic. James wrote, it was part of the club's strategy to sit tight during January rather than a case of the owners being unwilling to sanction investment. There will certainly be incomings come the summer, writes James Pearce. Next up, What areas need bolstering will be heavily influenced by the outcome of the contract sagas involving Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Contingency plans have been drawn up for all eventualities. Again from James Pearce of The Athletic, which is good to hear, sincerely, not being smart. It is good to know that the club has a plan A, a plan B and a plan C to deal with the situation and all eventualities. Next up, again from James Pearce, said those craving the sight of Liverpool buying from a position of strength this winter were left disappointed. But internally at the club, there are no regrets. They didn't see a need for reinforcements. This is ballsy stuff, by the way, from the club putting this out, because history will be dictated about how the next few months go, about whether this was a bold, brave move or a stupid move. And I don't think anybody knows the answer to that one yet. I think it's going to play itself out over the next 3-4 months. And then we'll see. And if we do go on to win a league title or go deep in the Champions League, add in another cup, I'll certainly think, okay, they got away with it. Gamble worth taking. Now let's see what happens in the summer. But there is no backing down now. The gauntlet's been thrown down and it's been set out very clearly. We've all been promised signings in the summer. Big signings, strategic signings, money spent. So let's wait and see what happens in the summer, because then we get to hold people to account. If it happens, I think we'll all be happy, because that's what we want. We want the club to be active, to be successful, and to be pursuing the targets that we want brought in. So yeah, I'm good. Nothing we can do now between now and the summer. All the screaming and shouting in the world from you, me, or anybody else can't change the fact that we haven't made a signing. We are where we are. But I tell you what, hand on heart, I'd love to just enjoy the season now. Get these contracts announced if they're already signed, and I'm just going to enjoy the season. Because there's been too much not enjoying football for me recently because of all the distractions, all the stresses around the transfer window. I want to just get back to enjoying it and having fun. So, to move on a little bit from this, but follow it up, Kieran Maguire, who's a football finance expert, we'll see him on many publications, radio shows, podcasts. He's posted the Premier League transfer spending for 2024-25, and I'm going to get to it in 1 second and give you a flavour of what it looks like. But first of all, I have a super chat I need to catch up on. Matt Kelly said, maybe it's just now that we are where we are, but I like the squad. We have our depth. It's underrated. Just worry about Gravenberch's playing time. So look, Mac, I agree. You look at the squad right now with everybody healthy, and yes, Trent's out for a couple of days, but everybody healthy, and you think, all right, Chiesa and Gomez couldn't even get in a matchday squad. So if the injuries are kept away, I have exactly the same feeling as you. It's okay. It's not ideal. I would have liked the signing, but it's okay. As long as Gravenberch, Van Dijk or Salah don't pick up a knock, I think we'll be grand, like you've said. Another one to go through. Craig, the deals can't have been wrapped up New Year's Day. Salah came out not long ago saying it's far from done. Again, not my claim. I'm not the one saying it. That was Graham Kelly who believed it was done New Year's Day. I'm just sharing the stories and asking people for their opinion on it. So, transfer spending in pounds sterling. Anybody want to guess where Liverpool is on this list of 20 Premier League clubs for the 2024-25 season? Bottom is the answer. Lowest, 20th of 20 clubs in spending. Liverpool spent £34.7 million in the transfer market between summer and winter window. Top of the pile is actually a surprise to me. Top of the pile is Brighton, who've spent £231 million in transfers. Now, this isn't net, by the way. This is just transfer spend alone. So Brighton have spent £231 million. Second on the list is the club that seemingly hasn't got 2p to rub together, Manchester United, with £202 million spent. And I, as a Liverpool fan, have to sit here listening to United fans complaining about spending. And I keep saying the same thing. What I'd give as a Liverpool fan to see our managers given that level of money, 200 million, and they're broke. Manchester City, £200.8 million spent in transfers. Chelsea, £196.7 million. Villa, 176.9. Spurs, 136. Arsenal about mid-table, £90 million spent. But Liverpool, bottom of the pile. Even Everton have spent more money on transfers than Liverpool. Now look, you can look at this two ways. You can look at it and think, God, we're cheap. Or you can look at it and think, feckin' hell, we're performing well, aren't we? For a team that spent no money and we're top of the league and probably going to go on and win it. So again, it's open to interpretation. But it does show that surely there is a big pot of money there that can be utilised in the summer for these transfers that were all being promised. Ryan O'Driscoll said, with all the talk of the signings that are going to be coming in the summer, FSG, Edwards and Hughes will have zero excuses if they mess it up, especially if the contracts aren't sorted. Fans will riot. It's a risky strategy, not bringing in anybody in January. If it pays off and we get the summer that we want, you won't be seeing the where's the money tweets or posts from me. You won't be seeing the videos. All I want is the manager to be back. If that happens, I'll be a happy camper. Because you can't control what happens in the season. If the players come in and they don't settle or Arne isn't picking the right squads or the right teams, then it's on the manager and the players to figure it out. And we'll be critical of them if it leads that way. But if it all comes together and works out, happy days. That's all I want as a fan, is the manager to get that backing that I don't think he's had. So they've painted themselves into a corner here now because every journalist has briefed the same thing. Money's going to be there in the summer. Strategic plans, A, B and C. So let's make it happen. Now, one name that has come up today from David Lynch and a few other journalists is Miguel Gutierrez of Girona. He's been closely watched apparently. Two things to keep an eye on here. One, Real Madrid have a 50% sell-on clause, I believe, and a buyback option on this guy. Secondly, Girona are part of the City group of football clubs that are, Manchester City's owners are at the peak of or at the top of. So that's another thing to keep into consideration. But certainly his name has been doing the rounds today from David Lynch and a couple of other journalists as one that Liverpool are keeping an eye on. Now, it's not just Liverpool looking at Gutierrez. Where's this other post? So Football España report that Arsenal, Manchester City, Bayern Munich have all gone to watch this kid this season, 23 years of age. Buyback option for Real Madrid and a 50% sell-on clause like we've mentioned. Napoli, another club that have been keeping tabs on him. But again, I'm asking you for your help on this one because I can't say I've watched much of Gutierrez, if any, this season. So any help there or thoughts on that, please do let me know. Lolly said, hi Craig, I always thought Chiesa could replace Mo in case Mo was leaving. That's how I understood it all the time. Am I wrong? Tough to know, Lolly mate, tough to know. I viewed Chiesa as a punt that if it worked, it's going to look genius. If it doesn't work, I still think we get the money back as a club and it doesn't cause as much of an issue. That to me was a good example of an opportunistic signing that was worth doing. How it works out, I guess history will predict, but I don't think we're going to see any one player be a Mohamed Salah replacement. I think it's going to have to be a collective goal-scoring team that figures it out and an assisting team. So Chiesa could very well be part of that, absolutely. But let's see how he finishes the remainder of this campaign. How do we know he's fit? Are they waiting to see his Musk series about buying? Look, you can put the idea of Elon Musk buying Liverpool out of your head. It is not going to happen. Just come to terms with that. He's not buying Liverpool. It isn't going to happen because the owners don't want to sell. And, it's not even worth our time talking about, to be honest with you. Lee Gunner raves about Miguel Gutierrez and he watches a ton of La Liga. Well, do you know what? Lee is going to come and stay with me and my family for a couple of nights when we're in Spain next month. Lee's coming up, driving up and spending a couple of nights with us there, and we're going to go and watch a game of footy together and have a couple of drinks and a laugh. So I'll certainly be bending Lee's ear about Gutierrez when I chat with him. Because, as you said, I know he watches a load of La Liga. And, yeah, look, when the name came out today, people who've watched more of him than I have seemed very excited by it and certainly thought it was a more than credible link to Liverpool. So let's wait and see what happens with it. Right, the likes are flying up, by the way. Thank you all so much. If you can, please do keep hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to do that as well. So Todd Boehly, the Chelsea Supremo, could be in a spot of bother here. Transfer Sector have posted, breaking, a website co-owned by Todd Boehly is involved in the unauthorised resale of tickets to Chelsea matches and other Premier League games to foreign tourists. And that comes from Telefootball. Is there anything not a little bit shady about Boehly when they're not buying and selling hotels to themselves? Now, seemingly, he's involved in the unauthorised, using their words, resale of tickets to Chelsea and other Premier League matches to foreign tourists. So, touting. That's not a great look. Who would you like to see as a long-term Salah replacement, said Corbyn. I'd have loved it to have been Ben Doak, but it certainly doesn't look like that's going to be the case for various reasons. I like Nico Williams, but I think he's one of those players that will probably stay in Spain. You know what, man? I'm going to say I don't know and be honest about it. Like, I have players I like. Obviously, Rafa Leao would have been great. I know he plays on the opposite side, but I still think we could have got a tune out of him on another side. I just don't know, because I don't think there is anyone that can come in and do what he does. Now, I'm sure Liverpool are going to have a list of targets, and we spoke about the Serbian Messi on last night's video, but truth is, mate, I don't really have a list of players I think that are ready to come in and replace Mo, which is why I keep talking about the fact I'd love that 2-year period where we get to see somebody eventually blossom into the position where they're challenging Mo, or they're going to take over the mantle from Mo if Mo departs, because he will depart at some point. So that's kind of where my head's at with it. I'd like the next 2 years to show that. Even if the news is false and they all leave, it doesn't matter. We'll thrive regardless. Suarez, Torres, Sterling, Coutinho all left you. Here we are. Yeah, I don't feel as optimistic as that, to be honest with you, Rowan, but it's, you know, I'm kind of that way about Trent, but I'm really adamant in my belief that we're not ready to replace Salah and Virgil yet. I think we need a longer transition for those positions, because they've been such a mainstay of our team and the spine of our team. So yeah, we would replace them, but what I don't want to happen is another transitional period for Liverpool where we drop off a bit to try and get back to where we want to be. I want us to win the league this year and then build from that for the future, but with keeping us challenging or winning. That's all I want, is an era and not just a win here, fall away for a couple of campaigns, come back again. Kudus, do you know what? I'd prefer Mbeumo than Kudus, if I'm being honest. I look at Brian Mbeumo and I see a lot of good traits in there that I think Arne Slot would love. He's such a hard worker. Obviously, very much Premier League tested. I think he has the attitude to be a Liverpool player. I think he has that spark, that fight. And I think he's what I'd call an honest footballer that doesn't look to hide out there on the pitch. Always tries to take responsibility. Always tries to make himself available. Yeah, I'd prefer Mbeumo. Personally, I really would. But I don't know what the answer is going to be. Right, so let's check in on the poll. where we asked, do you believe the Salah and VVD contracts are sorted? Now, there's still time to have a quick vote with this. We're nearly up towards heading for 2,000 votes. So if you haven't voted, please do. Lauren, how are you, Lauren? Said Isak to replace Nunez in the summer would be fire. Yes, I agree. I agree, Lauren. I think it would take Newcastle significantly lowering their valuation for Liverpool to entertain that. Because, you know, you're talking over 100 million. Last estimates were 120 to 150 million. So, you know, I think it would take Newcastle to back down on that a bit. Who would be your dream signing for the summer? Said Andreas. And thank you for the question, Andreas. Who would be my dream signing for the summer? Probably still be Zubamendi, to be honest with you. We're going to talk left back and centre back. Kirkes, I think there are options in those positions. But that midfield addition, that extra player there, has been something that seems to have eluded us for a long time. So I still think if Zubamendi was open and possible, I wouldn't say no there. Bajcetic coming back, let's keep an eye on that situation. Kirkes at left back, don't know much about the guy we're speaking about tonight, Gutierrez at left back. I like the Kuiper from Brugge at left back. Centre back's an interesting one. And that's, you know, Hato looks like a good option that could fill in multi-positions. Dutch as well, obviously. And it feels like there's something to the Hato situation. I know that he was a guest of Ryan Gravenberch at a game of ours recently. So that's another name that... It's tough to know because I know we're not going to go out and sign superstars. So we're going to have to get a player that we know about, we've probably heard of, but yet maybe don't automatically think of. That seems to be the type of business we've been doing in recent years. Lex Coy, we're gambling with title number 20, not strengthening. It is a gamble, and there's no denying that. No way of confirming that we won't pick up an injury, no way of saying that we will pick up an injury. It is a gamble. And like I've said before, we've had mixed results when we've gambled in previous seasons. I would have preferred us not to roll the dice and taken this risk, but ultimately, I can't do anything to change that now, nor can you. The window's closed. And it's been a difficult month. And quite frankly, I'm glad it's behind me. And I can just focus on enjoying the football. Because that's, you know, that's what's important here. Is making sure that, yes, we do win that league title, but we have to enjoy it as well. And some of the enjoyment had been taken away over the last month because we were all a bit stressed. And understandably. Corbin, 2003, said, realistically, 80 million for Isak is fair. Need money. PSR. Well, I think they've freed up some of their PSR issues. Now, I think it could come down to Newcastle getting a Champions League spot or not. If they don't get a Champions League spot, then not only do you maybe have to look at the lack of revenue there, but then you have a player who probably starts to feel like he wants and deserves to be playing Champions League football. And he does. He absolutely does. Isak's been sensational. So if you have the PSR stuff, no Champions League money, and the player not in the competition feeling like he's missing out, then yeah, maybe something does happen with Isak. But I think we're going to have to wait and see how the season fizzles out or pans out. And certainly we're going to have to move Darwin on. Ash said, people moaning about lack of signings. I'd rather be in our position than Arsenal's. They're without Jesus for the rest of the season and Saka for at least another month. They did zero business. Look, of course, I'd rather be in our position than Arsenal's for a whole host of reasons, but it's still not really relevant in my mind. You know, we should look after what we do, and we still need a player or two. So I still feel like we should have done the business, but as I've said, nothing we can do about it now. It's done till the summer. Somebody said, coming in late, what's the story with the news? Right, I'll read it out to you again. 1 second. It's been a bit of a mad day, this one. Also, here's a bit of a funny one for you. Manchester City have spent more money in the January transfer window this year than the other 19 Premier League clubs combined. Chelsea have spent 275 million in 2023, which is the record for January. But Manchester City in this window have spent £180 million, and the rest of the Premier League combined spent £177 million. So anyway, to get back to the post that we were speaking about, that people are asking where's this news come from today, it comes from a post from Anfield Edition earlier on today that made a very, very big, bold claim. And it was exclusive. We understand that both Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have put pen to paper on new deals to extend their stay at Liverpool. And as I said, they're a big account on X. I think 450,000 followers, I think. I know that they're an account that many journalists get wound up by. I know that firsthand from speaking to journalists. But as I said, it's not my story. I can't say if it's true or not true. But Laurie, who I think is part of the Anfield Edition team, said, "This isn't my exclusive and I've absolutely no inside info, but I've been advised that the source is very reliable and wouldn't put his reputation on the line if it wasn't true. I believe this 100%. Now, what I would say here is, the source hasn't really put his neck on the line because nobody knows the source. So if we found out who the source was, which I'm sure will be the case if it isn't true, then maybe we'll have a better idea of it." Then you had Graham Kelly, who posted to say, was done by New Year's Day apparently. Fowler said it best. Done, but they don't want the Trent question. So that's what we were asking about. I don't understand why they don't want the pressure put back on Trent. I think the pressure should be on Trent to make his mind up, one way or the other. So we asked, do you believe the Salah and VVD contracts are sorted? 57% of over 2,000 people have said yes, they do. And the remaining 43% said no, they don't believe they're sorted. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. And I probably be on the side of I think they will be done if they aren't already done. But I don't know if they have been signed or not. It's going to take more sources to confirm that for me. And I've not been able to get those confirmations today, despite trying very hard. It's a big claim though, and a rather unnecessary risk to take if it isn't, or you haven't been given that information. So I would have to say that Anfield Edition must firmly believe that this is true. Because, as I said, it's a huge risk to take with your reputation if it isn't coming from very, very, very credible sources. So let's wait and see. Alphonso Davies re-signed with Bayern. Yep, he did on big money. Again, I think it's about 350 grand a week, something like that. So let's wait and see. That's one more player Madrid won't be getting there, by the way. I mean, it's such a big, bold claim to make this one from Anfield Edition's behalf. It's either going to turn out to look like a masterstroke and all credit will be given, or, it turns out not to be the case, and then I guess you got to deal with the fallout of that as well. Only time will tell if the contract situation is true. If it is, expect the announcement will be within the next few days if that's the case. Yeah, so that's another good point. If it is true, how long do they hold off the announcement, waiting for the decision from Trent? That's another very valid question. For me right now, it feels like there'll be a lot more upside to the club announcing it than there would be downside. But, that's just me being a bit more ruthless, maybe, because, and I don't mean this to sound the way I'm going to say it, but I don't care if it puts pressure on Trent. Sorry, I don't. Because I think it's putting pressure on everybody else right now. And what's wrong with a bit of pressure? You want to stay at your hometown club or you don't. He's had long enough, like I've said all the way through. He's had more than enough time to decide. If it's a financial thing, and Trent just wants more money from the club, then cool. Come out and say that, and I'm sure the fans will help Trent's case in that regard. But staying stum and saying nothing, and then having to read about crap that we're still reading about him dreaming about his presentation at Madrid and all the other stuff that's still coming from, multiple Spanish accounts. Yeah. Am I the only one, by the way, who doesn't care if it puts more pressure on Trent? Because I don't see that pressure is necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. But I think the longer the situation goes on without Trent or the club speaking about it, I think that has the possibility to become more toxic to Trent than a bit of honesty here. So I'm going to ask that as the next question. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm wording it like this. Does the idea of it putting more pressure on Trent worry you? Let's go with that and see how people feel about it. So, if it's true and it was announced, do you think the idea that it being announced put more pressure on Trent, does that worry you or not? Because I don't. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. Because I think it's about time pressure start being introduced to this situation. Because how long do you need to make your mind up? Remember, this is going on since Jurgen left. And there's been a lot of benefit of the doubt given about whether Trent wanted to see who the next coach was going to be. Absolutely understand that. Are we going to be challenging again? I absolutely understand and wanting to know that. I'm open to the idea that he wanted to see if Virgil and Mo were staying as well. I'm open to the idea of him wanting to get some information from the club about what their plans in the future market are going to be and how competitive they want to be moving forward. But I feel like all of those questions would have been answered at this point. The money thing is, again, it's going to get to a point where this is our best offer, yes or no. So I'm really running out of ideas and reasons as to why we need to all keep waiting. Make your mind up time. You want to stay or you don't. It isn't that hard. He's had more than long enough to be dwelling on it now. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, but also, it's football. Which multi-million pound contract offer do you want to take? I don't get how it takes this long to know what you want to do. Like, if any of you were given the option of a new job in another country with your family, and you had an idea what the pay was going to be, you might take 2 weeks, you might take a month to sit down, think about it, play it all out, look into what life living in this new place might be, look into what the situation might be for your family, and you'd weigh it all up and you'd come to a decision. Wouldn't take this long, because now we're getting to almost a year since Jurgen left or announced he was leaving. Almost a year. And we're still supposed to believe that he maybe hasn't made his mind up yet. I struggle to believe that to be the case, to be honest. Isn't it about time we were told something, said David Massey. I think so. For a couple of reasons. If Trent wants to leave, right, let's play these situations out in a couple of ways. So, let's start with a positive. Trent stays. Brilliant. We're happy. Happy days. Trent leaves. Well, I don't think dragging it out any longer is going to make the situation any better for Trent. Because if he does it near the end of the season, fans are going to feel like it's messing up the celebrations of winning a league title. And it's negativity at a time where we should be celebrating. So just come out and say it. If you want to leave and you're going at the end of the season, come out, tell the fan base, be honest. They'll understand. There'll always going to be some negativity, but they'll understand, and then you get to play football freely and enjoy your last few months at the club, and then depart off and do whatever you want to do. That's the way I think it should go. Now look, it's not my decision to make, but that seems the sensible play here. Because the longer it goes, it feels more sinister if he leaves. If he stays, it's going to be a big sigh of relief and everyone's going to be happy. But if he leaves and people have felt like they've been played by the situation or dragged along by Trent's decision-making process, that's just going to be worse. That's how I see it. Dara Joy said, Craig, really hope we lose tomorrow. Really? Definitely don't agree with that. And we're not playing tomorrow either, by the way. It's Thursday, but Villa and City away in a 4-day period could be a disaster. I mean, it's your thought process to make, mate. Either way, for me, it's one game extra, and it's a cup final. I don't see why you wouldn't want to win a cup final. And you've mentioned there the Villa game and the Man City game, but look at Manchester City. They have a bigger headache ahead of that game than we do. They have to go to the Bernabeu, and they have a playoff round in the Champions League, so they'll have their own distractions. Honestly, I don't get the thought process of not wanting to play one more game in a cup final that could add to more trophies. Like, it's one game. For me, win it. Win the semi-final. Put out a weakened team against Plymouth on Sunday. Get back to first team for the game against Everton next Wednesday. And then go to Anfield South and try to win another trophy. Jack Dempsey said, just my opinion, but I think the club just don't want a toxic situation to occur when they're on the brink of success. So, right. Do you think that if it's announced when we win the league he's going, it's going to be any less toxic? Because the uncertainty right now is causing friction inside Anfield. You know, listen to people that go to the game and they're already screaming things at Trent like, if you don't want to be here, piss off, and stuff like that. So, as I've said, I think it has a possibility to be more toxic the longer it stays unresolved than by being upfront about it. But I don't know what else to say, you know, that's just my opinion. Jack, of course, you're entitled to your opinion, as is everybody else. But I just don't see how it's less toxic if it's announced later than now. Because fans will resent Trent a lot more if it's done later, in my opinion. A lot more. Because it'll feel like we've been played at that point and manipulated. Because people understand Real Madrid and the lure of it. People understand the bright lights. People understand the idea of somebody maybe wanting another chapter in their career. Not necessarily the outcome we want, but they understand it. It's Madrid, it's Bellingham, it's Ismay, it's, you know, the glossy side of football. But if you do that and have dragged it out a year, I think it'll end up putting them in Michael Owen territory, in my opinion. Muckrab said, Craig, if he announces it, you know, some of the fans are, remember when Gerrard almost went to Chelsea? That was in the summer after we'd won the Champions League. But look, again, I'm open to other opinions on this one. I just think, personally, it'll get way more toxic to Trent when he leaves, if he drags it out, than being upfront and honest about it. Like, if he comes out and said something like, I've struggled with this decision back and forth for the last 9 months or whatever it was. This has been a club I've been at since I've been a child, 20 odd years. This is my city. But I feel like this is an opportunity I can't pass up for a once in a lifetime move to another footballing icon. I think people would be disappointed but would understand it. There's always going to be the arseholes that are going to do the shitty stuff. The burning of shirts and all the other crap that nobody with a half a mind would ever do. But, yeah, look, it is what it is. But I think the longer this is looming over the rest of the squad and the team and the fan base, the more anxious the fans are. And I think that has the possibility to seep inside the stadium. David said, I don't care what cup competition we were in. I want to win them all. That's why you have a squad to rotate. Yeah, and it would feel very weird getting to this stage of the tournament and then all of a sudden not giving a damn about it, you know? You're going to have to play the second leg of the semi regardless, so why not play to win with a strong team? Because I think it's worked out well for us. The Plymouth game at the weekend means that this can be the main focus, and then you have a 6-day turnaround till they play the Merseyside derby. So I'd say first team on Thursday, first team the following Wednesday, backup team for the FA Cup. So maybe people think that if Trent's going to leave, it's going to be a negative reaction anyway, so why not push it down the road? Yeah, I can get that thought process as well. I just don't agree with it, but I can understand it. And I think whenever it happens, there will be some people who wish him well. There will be people who are semi-frustrated by it. And then there'll be the toxic, negative, horrible arseholes that really aren't football fans, that do all the stuff that embarrass the rest of us. The burning of shirts, the "you're dead to me" crap, and all the other stuff that nobody ever wants to see any footballer be on the receiving end of. But I just think, for me, if it feels more premeditated, the outcome's going to be worse. That's just my take on it. Do you think we'll win against Tottenham? Yeah, put the preview out earlier on today. If you get a chance, please do give it a watch. I went 4-1. I'm feeling really ballsy for this one, really confident. Spurs are there to be beaten. You know, it was an unfortunate game down there to lose 1-0. A draw was probably a fair result, but it is what it is. And as I mentioned, I think with the fact that we have a game with the weekend that doesn't need the first team, this is a chance to go and win it and make a statement. And I think we're going to win it comfortably, to be honest with you. You know, 4-1 on the night is my prediction. And I think if we can come out and get a goal inside the first 15-20, I think Spurs fall apart. I do. I think they absolutely capitulate. With Anfield behind Liverpool, some hungry players out there smelling blood, I think we could put them to the sword. Do you know what? Even if we conceded first in the game, I still don't think I'll be that stressed about it, because I just think with all the injuries and all the things the Spurs are going through at the minute, it just feels like if we go out there and play to 70% of our best, we should be too good for them. And they can't defend. Let's not forget that. They can't defend. They're so open and porous that with Chiesa, Salah, Darwin, Jota back, Diaz, Gakpo, and all the attacking threats Liverpool have, they should be licking their lips for this one. Dara Joyce said, Craig, you just made my point. We earned that week's rest and City have to go to Madrid on that week, Wednesday. Feeling like a final would be a punishment. But it is what it is. I'm not ever going to say I don't want Liverpool to be in a cup final because it's one more game. And I feel like it's too defeatist to say, well, let's not get to a cup final so we can hope we win the league. Just win everything that's in front of you. It's one game, so I don't think I have made my point for you or your point for me. I think it's just a game, and I don't see what I'd rather us get knocked out of the FA Cup and not give a damn about that, because there's at least 3-4 more games to go in there. This is just a game we have to play, and then a final for Arnold to get a trophy in early doors and boost the confidence for the remainder of the season, for the tricky run in. I don't know, man. I just feel like seeing that trophy lift, Arna getting the taste, the players being successful, I think that'll put a bit of a pep in our step for the remainder of the campaign and the very tricky run in. Robert Young said, Spurs at Anfield with that high line, this could get really good. I'm buzzing for it. I'm really excited for this game on Thursday. Because it feels like, because we're down after the first leg, we got to go out and get this. We got to go and earn this. And I think we're going to be sniffing blood. And then remember, the next game the following week is in Merseyside anyway. So it's not like we've got much travelling to do for the league game at Goodison. You know, it's just down the road. Dragusin did his ACL. Yes, Tanya, that's correct. And he underwent some surgery today as well on that ACL. As with any player, just wish him a speedy recovery. Never wish an injury on any footballer. It's difficult. So I want to read you out an article or a piece posted in the Echo, and then I want to ask you to spot the mistake. Okay? So you know how I love to just big up my friends at the Echo. So they did a piece today where they said shirt numbers available to Liverpool summer signings. Spot the mistake in this one. So the shirt numbers that they say are available at Liverpool are number 6, number 12, number 13, number 16, number 18, number 23, number 24, number 25, 27, 28, 29 and 30. Spot the mistake in that for me, please, ladies and gentlemen. Because I know some of you are going to get it very quickly. What's the mistake there? Finlay wins. First one with the answer. Number 18 is, of course, a mistake. And Ben as well. Because a certain Dutch fella by the name of Cody wears number 18. So that certainly... We'll just put that down to a very rare and very shocking mistake in the Echo. Because we know how good they are. We know how high the journalistic standards are there and how rare these mistakes are from the good folks at the Echo. So I was shocked to learn this today, ladies and gentlemen. Shocked. From the real fans. Not us idiots. The real fans. The serious people. Yeah, it's 18. You're all right. It's Cody Gakpo. He's the number 18 for Liverpool. So, yes. You worry too much. Do I? Probably do. I don't see why it should be of any concern of yours, Kevin. But, yeah, I probably do, mate. But that's all right. I'll worry about me. The shithousery is glorious. I'm being very respectful. I think, quality journalism from, the big boys. So, David Lynch also posted today, or wrote a piece to suggest said, Saudi, along with AC Milan, are expected to return in the summer for Darwin Nunez, when Liverpool would be more open to bringing a close, to an experiment that hasn't quite paid off. So it does look like at this point Darwin's going to be moved on in the summer, regardless of how the rest of the season pans out. And it looks, again, as per David Lynch there, that clubs are going to come back in and that Liverpool will be more open to a sale in the summer. So enjoy Darwin for the remaining few months, because it definitely feels like he's going to move on. No idea, by the way, what the numbers may be. Greg Dillon said, is there any team in football that are behind from a first leg, playing the second leg at home, more capable of turning it around with a brilliant performance than Liverpool? Us in Madrid, I would put at the very top of that list as teams that can turn around the deficit with a second leg at home. Absolutely. We are right up there. And there aren't many more stadiums in the world that can impact and put more pressure onto an opponent and lift up the team more than Anfield either. So, yeah. It's weird. You're right. Yeah, we'll go into this game and I'm feeling optimistic about it. Yes, we're 1-0 down, but as you said, man, there's no better group, no better stadium, no better set of fans to will the boys on to turn this around. Ash said, Saudi for Nunez, can't see Milan going for him. They've just signed Jimenez and Joe Felix on loan, but if that goes well, no doubt they'll go for him. I've no idea who comes in from, to be fair. That'll be an issue for the club, Darwin and his family, to figure out what the best fit for their future is going to be. I'm just intrigued to see what type of numbers Liverpool maybe will be able to command in the summer for Darwin. Do you see us winning a domestic treble? hard to tell. I think league, I'm 90% we're winning the league. If we beat Everton, I'm 100% we're winning the league. The League Cup, look, whoever we face in the final, if indeed we make it to the final, it's going to be a tough game. Newcastle and Arsenal, difficult games for varying reasons. So you'd have to say cup finals are a coin flip at the best of times. And then you've got the FA Cup, where who knows what the next round is if we get past Plymouth, so have no idea. I'd much rather the big two, a Premier League and a Champions League, because that would be just undeniable. That would be incredible. But look, I'll take any trophies. A win is a win is a win. A trophy is a trophy. And in the manager's first year, I think it gets us off to a great start if you can put any trophies in the cabinet. But at this point, the league title has to be one of them. Jack Dempsey said, the Echo are as reliable as the Chicken Boy. So look, people keep saying to me at times, why do I read the Echo or these others? And it's my job. It's my job to get a flavour of everybody's thought processes, all the news around the club, the comment sections from fans. You know, it's my job to make sure I have my finger on the pulse and figure out what way the wind's blowing. And look, I don't think they're reliable either, to be honest with you. I think they're just a mouthpiece for FSG at this point. That's my own take on the Echo. I don't have anything personally against any of the journalists, other than I don't like them looking down their nose at fan content. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is, I guess. Dara Joyce said, Craig, you're a legend. You might as well stop it there, mate. You've nailed it. We've boxed that one off. Don't want a row. I remember winning League Cups with Jurgen and falling away. Don't want history repeating itself. Look, I get it. There's nothing that frustrated me more, Dara, than those seasons where, I hasten to say this phrase, but where a quadruple was still possible, and you end up with the 2 domestic cups. If I said to you, Dara, that didn't frustrate me, I'd be a liar, because it did. I think any successful season for me should be one of the 2, and anything else on top of that's great. And by the 2, I mean Champions League or Premier League. So I do get where you're coming from. I just think the damage of losing in a semi-final second leg, psychologically at this point, probably outweighs the negative of playing another game, if you get me. David said, winning cups brings more confidence. Yeah, it definitely does. And boils more piss as well, David. Let's not forget about the old reliable boiling the opposition fans' piss. So here's my attempt at a predicted 11, by the way, in case you haven't seen the preview for the game against who are we playing? Spurs on Thursday. So my 11 is Alisson in goal, because I think Kelleher plays in the League Cup or the FA Cup game. So Alisson in goal, Bradley at right back, Robbo to come back in at left back, Virgil and Kanade in the centre back positions. Midfield, I think, picks itself now. Gravenberch, McAllister, Soboslai. Then you can give Elliott and Jones a run, and Endo in the FA Cup. Up top, for me, I put Darwin through the centre, because I think he could feast on this Spurs defence. So I'd put Darwin through the centre, Mohamed Salah on the right, and Diaz on the left. And then I would utilise the bench for Jota, Chiesa, and maybe Cody Gakpo if needed be. And look, if the manager goes Cody Gakpo on the left instead of Diaz, I'm sound with that as well. But that's what I'd do for this game. That would be my 11. Katie said, Craig, I missed the alien chasing you. So hand on heart, Katie, that was just a distraction for me is the reason why that was removed. I'd be sitting here doing an interview with somebody on StreamYard or something, and I have a slightly more condensed in studio for StreamYard, and I'd be watching, and then I'd just see out the corner of my eye me and Nulon just kind of dancing or running behind, and it would distract me and ruin my own thought process. So yeah, I made that decision, to be honest, because I was distracting myself. Keith How are you, my friend? By the way, thank you so much to everyone in with us tonight. Over 2,000 people in the chat. Everybody's in great form. I appreciate you all coming in and having a bit of a fun stream with me tonight. I am 100% going to be off tomorrow night and let everybody watch the Arsenal-Newcastle game. But I appreciate you all so much. We've a good 40 minutes or so left tonight. So if you can, ladies and gentlemen, drop a like on the stream for me and hit that subscribe button as well, because we're inching closer to that glorious 300,000 subscriber mark. Keith said, hey Craig, I think Liverpool seriously need to look at getting a world-class striker like Isak this summer. You can see at times how we can be so wasteful. I think that will be the case, Keith. I do. I don't know if it'll be Isak, but you are going to be happy, I believe, with that department in the summer. I think we will make a play there. If we can get Isak in, brilliant. I think we'd all be happy with that one. Let's see how Jayden Danns gets on as well. Up at Sunderland for the second half of the season. I think that's a great move, by the way, for Jayden. A great move. That is a city that loves its football. And I think they're going to love Jayden Danns. Now, at the minute, he has to remain back at the AXA to work on a back issue that he has, and then he'll join up with Sunderland. But keep an eye on him as well for the remainder of the season. Corbin said, hope Arteta gets the right ball in their game. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Arsenal go about this one. Because 2-0 down, and they have to go up to St. James's. That is... It's going to be a tough game for them. If they turn it round, fair play. But I think the Geordies are going to be chomping at the bit for this one and another potential Wembley final. So I'm going to be a very interested watcher of that semi-final tomorrow. Right, so does the idea of putting more pressure on Trent worry you? Was the question. 73% of people think yes. Or no, excuse me, it doesn't worry them. And 73% say that... 73% say no, it doesn't worry them. 27% say yes, it does worry them. The next question I'm going to put to you in a poll is around Isak. So question is, do we really think we sign Isak in the summer? So vote away on that one, and when you've all finished voting, although I don't know what's going on with my chat here, what is going on with this? Don't know what happened there, but it just failed for me, so I'm going to try that post again. Just disappeared there. Don't know what happened. We'll go again. Right, cool. There you go. An error occurred, try again. An error occurred, try again. I don't know why it's not letting me put the poll up. It just keeps telling me an error occurred, try again. One second. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but it just keeps telling me an error occurred, try again. Yeah, it won't let me post the poll. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I've no idea, but it won't let me post the poll, so I can't ask you. So let's go the old-fashioned way then, considering I can't put a poll up for some reason. Give me a thumbs up if you think Liverpool will sign Isak in the summer, and give me a thumbs down if you don't think we'll sign Isak in the summer. Because I've got myself no way of putting a poll up for some reason here. Don't know what's going on with the YouTube chat. Eddie Howe's blocking it. Maybe. Right, so we'll go the old-fashioned way and have a look at some thumbs up or thumbs down and figure it out from there. So I have a song that I think suits this one. Down, down, down to down. Down, down, down to down. Because that's where the thumbs are at the minute. Down, 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 down to down. Right, let me refresh the chat. 1 second. How do I refresh the chat? I'm trying to figure out how to reset the chat in all honesty. There's no refresh button that I'm seeing. Yeah, still not letting me do it. I don't know how to refresh the chat, so. So we'll go. It's looking like a no, anyway. It's looking like a no from the thumbs down in the chat. Can you? I've closed the chat and popped it back out. I've already done that. But yeah, it's just not letting me put a poll up. No idea why. What have I missed? A lot, to be fair. It's been quite a busy stream tonight. We've been talking about the bold claim made by Anfield Edition that the contract of Mohamed Salah and Virgil have already been signed. And we were chatting about whether we think that's true or not. We've spoken a little bit about Gutierrez as well. Miguel Gutierrez of Girona, who has been listed as another option for Liverpool at left back. We've spoken about Jayden Dan's loan, confirmation as well on the loan for Cade Gordon to Portsmouth. So Michael Carrick has been speaking a little bit about the slight injury that Ben Doak has, and he said he felt his thigh during the weekend training. We'll see how bad it is. It won't be a few days, it'll be longer. Probably weeks, not ages, but it won't be days. So Ben Doak going to be out for a little while with a thigh injury. Also, what else did we go through there? We've done Jayden Dan's. Yeah, that's pretty much the main topics that we've covered tonight, to be fair. Right, so I think it's fair to say people aren't expecting Isak in. So now next one, I guess, is what striker do you think Liverpool may look to bring in if indeed we do sell Darwin Nunez? Because it's looking likely that Liverpool are going to be selling Darwin based off lots of posts and lots of journalist thoughts. So who would you bring in? And the answer is not going to be Gyökeres. So you can waste. I knew it. Look, fucking first one. He's not going to come to Liverpool. It's not a right fit and it wouldn't work. So it won't be Gyökeres. So I'll save you time writing that one out. It's not going to be him. Why do you let Arsenal fans wind you so much? They don't wind me. They just actually astound me, mate, more than anything. They don't wind me up because I don't really give a damn about their opinions. It's just they're weird, is more the case, mate. A very strange group of fans that have been weird this season. But they don't wind me up, mate. I don't get wound up by people that I don't really know. I get wound up by my own chat, people maybe who I disagree with on occasion, but the Arsenal fans, man, they are what they are. Hope you're well. I hope the contracts get confirmed soon so we can put this uncertainty behind us and enjoy the rest of the season, said Max Elton. I agree. I'm right with you on that one, Max, and it would certainly help me enjoy the rest of the season knowing that the contracts are sorted. It really would. Chris Tatton Music said, alright Craig, so much for the day off. Going to my first match at Anfield Thursday, buzzing. Also think Trent really needs to make his mind up ASAP. Well, firstly, man, enjoy the game on Thursday. I think you've got a good game to look forward to there. And with regards to the day off, I'll just push it to tomorrow, to be honest with you. It's just when this story came out today, I knew everybody wanted to have a chat about it. And I wanted to have a chat about it as well. So said I'd jump on, and I'll take tomorrow off instead. But yeah, have a great time at the game. I think you're going to really enjoy your first game there, and the possibility of a final to get to. Right, so some options here in the chat. Sesko, I think Arsenal have really done a good bit of groundwork to try and get in Benjamin Sesko, but God, I wouldn't say no. I love that shout, by the way, from lots of people in the chat on Sesko. I think he's a very, very good player. I just wonder if Arsenal have already done a load of groundwork for him. Kolo Muani was another one in there. I think jury's still out for me on him. Rodrigo to replace Darwin. We're talking about Darwin here, by the way, not Salah. Darwin. Rodrigo wouldn't replace Darwin. Cunha, said Aman. Again, Cunha feels a little bit like match of the day fever to me at the minute. You know, that one good season kind of vibe. We've fallen into that trap with Darwin. Ekitike, I think his day has been going over and trying it out PSG like he did. Jonathan David, I don't think is anywhere near good enough to be Liverpool's number 9. I don't. I've seen bits and pieces that make me think, yeah, there's something to him, but you know, we've got to get this one spot on, and I don't think Jonathan David's the answer for me anyway. Osimhen, oh God, I really don't want Victor Osimhen. Look, I've no idea whether it would happen or not, but I really don't want Victor Osimhen. Doesn't strike me as the right type of fit for us. Some interesting shouts as well in there. Retegui. De Ketelaere. I didn't really keep track of him since he left Milan. He's at Atalanta, right? De Ketelaere. Delap's the wild card. Delap is a very, very interesting one. Yeah, Delap's going to be an interesting one for sure. Yeah, still not letting me put a poll in, by the way. Sorry. Watkins. I wouldn't want Ollie Watkins. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. Ollie Watkins frustrates me because sometimes he looks brilliant and other times he looks very average. But there's something to him. I just don't know if he's... I'd rather know on Watkins, to be honest, personally. Arsenal obviously tried to get him in at the end of the window. You know, Villa weren't interested in selling at that point. Delap's an interesting one, though. Delap would be one of those that would either be absolute genius or very, very silly. And I can't tell which way he'll go, but he definitely has something about him. Delap strikes me as one of those lads that... I don't know, I look at him and I was a bit snobbish about him at first, I'll be honest with you, but then I spent a bit more time looking into his progress coming through at City and then, you know, at Ipswich, what he's doing now, and then I read some coaches who've worked with him and their thoughts on him, and I do think he's destined for bigger things, but I don't know if we're the right fit and if it would work, but there's a player in there in Liam Delap, definitely. Wonder what it would take to get Delap. Wonder what his price would be. What's your choice? Who would I go with? I love the Sesko shout, by the way. I'd be fully on board with the Benjamin Sesko shout. I think he's brilliant. Who else would I like? I mean, Delap, I just don't know technically enough to know if he'd be a good fit, but he's certainly an exciting one. Who else do I think is worth a shout based off the names that I've mentioned? I would have loved Marmoush. Would have loved him. I'm not going to get away from that. I would have loved Omar Marmoush. Jayden Dans, yeah, of course, as well, Phil. We can't forget about Jayden Dans, which is why I said at the start when we were talking about it, let's keep an eye on Dans at Sunderland, because Jayden is the real deal moving forward, but would it come a little bit too soon for him, perhaps? Openda, yeah, I'm up and down on Lewis Openda. Sometimes I look at him and think he's a world beater. Other times I'm a bit confused by him. But he is a name that I remember coming up in conversation when we were talking about Liverpool forwards and maybe going into the market. But I don't know enough to say he'd be a confirmed target, if you get me. Job Bellingham. I think the plan had always been to try and get the two Bellingham brothers to Madrid. I haven't followed Job Bellingham at Sunderland to know how good he is or isn't. I don't watch much of the Championship. Cal Down said Delap price was quoted as 45 million when rumoured with Arsenal. That seems fair. I'm not saying he's good enough, but I mean, I think the price seems fair. £45 million for a player at the start of his career from a good football family as well. Obviously, his dad played Premier League football. So yeah, seems a fair enough price. Look, Isak could be great, but I think we're looking at alternatives to Isak in the chat here just in case we're priced out of that one, or maybe they just don't want to sell. Big shout for Jordan Henderson, class act dealing with the press. I thought he looked like a gobshite, personally. I thought he looked very bitter in that Ajax press conference. I thought he came across like a bit of a twat. Again, just taking this situation on its own merits. Yeah, genuinely, I looked at it and I thought he just came across bitter, personally. Vlahovic, Julian Alvarez, or Lautaro Martinez. Vlahovic, I don't think would be a good fit for us. I think he'd be a better fit for Arsenal. Lautaro Martinez just would not be good enough to play centre forward for us. And Julian Alvarez has just made a big money move over to Spain. I don't think Atleti are going to let him go. Takefusa Kubo is a winger, so the idea of playing him through the centre as a striker just seems weird. Gibbs White is a number 10, so that makes no sense. Strand Larson has something in him. He was in my FPL team a good bit of this season as well. Has he not had a few injuries, though, this season at Wolves, no? Can see us signing a false nine other than an out-and-out striker? I don't know. I think it'll be an out-and-out striker. Yeah, I do. I think that the experiment with Darwin and rolling the dice there, look, I'll always understand why we made that decision and why we took that choice. You know, Darwin has something about him that, if it had have worked, it could have been absolutely magic. So I don't regret Liverpool signing Darwin. I understand why we did it, but I don't think it will put us off going out for another out-and-out number 9. I think that's what we're crying out for here. Darwin can definitely play better football, unfortunately, for us at another club. Yeah, look, it's unfortunate. You know, all of us want Darwin to succeed because he's a really lovable, likeable guy that plays with his heart on his sleeve, and he's somebody that resonates quite a bit with me because I can see a lot of my own characteristics of personality inside Darwin, and I sympathise a lot with him, but on the other side of it, it hasn't worked out well enough for anybody. Evan Ferguson. That's... Do you know what? Evan Ferguson is a very interesting situation for me. As an Irishman, of course, and as somebody who was surprised that he was getting less and less game time at Brighton. I know he's had injuries, which can be difficult as well. He's going to have a loan spell now at West Ham for the remainder of the campaign. To the best of my understanding, West Ham don't have an option to buy in that deal. So, yeah, if Evan Ferguson comes on the market and has a good end to the season, I don't know specifically about Liverpool, but I would say there'll be no shortage of bidders for his services because he is still at a very young age. He's a physically imposing lad. Again, from a good football family who will keep his feet on the ground. It'll be an interesting one. Did you see, somebody said about Bobby Firmino coming back, which of course he won't, but did you see his overhead kick in the Champions League? It was pretty good overhead kick. I think it was an assist from, was it Mahrez? What the assist? Is they on the same team? I just remember an assist and then Bobby's overhead kick. It was delicious. Alex said, is the title actually true? Well, why don't you talk me through the title, Alex, and let me know what you think the title is. Because the title in itself isn't the statement. It's a question pretty much. So yeah, we're not telling you that it's done. We're saying that a big claim has been made that they're done. And I'm happy to go back through that for you now. So let me get my notes open so I don't misquote anybody here. Right, so the initial post comes from Anfield Edition, who made a very, very bold and ballsy claim. They said, exclusive, we understand that both Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have put pen to paper on new deals to extend their stay at Liverpool. Now, of course, loads of people then start wanting to know more about this. And Laurie, who I believe is part of Anfield Edition team, if I'm mistaken on that, I apologise, but he posted about it and said, this is not my exclusive, and I've absolutely no inside info, but I've been advised that the source is very reliable and wouldn't put his reputation on the line if it wasn't true. Finished off by saying, I believe this 100%. Next up was Graham Kelly, who said, was done by New Year's Day apparently. Fowler said it best, done, but they don't want the Trent question. So I hope it's done. I think we all do. I just disagree with the Trent part of it personally, but we've gone back and forth on this tonight, and some people think it's the right decision maybe to not talk about them while Trent is unresolved. I think a little bit differently. I just know from a personal perspective, for me, it would make me a lot calmer about the season if I knew the lads were staying. Thoughts on Archie Gray, centre back? He's not a centre back. He's been played out of position at Spurs because they're desperate. But Archie Gray is a tremendously good young footballer, and I was shocked Spurs got him. Yeah, very good footballer. I think he'll have a great career in the Premier League, and I think when Spurs get their stuff sorted out and Gray gets to play in his proper position, I think he'll be top notch. Salah leaving, contract being signed by Al Ali. Yeah, that would be cool if he even got the club's name right. And it's absolute bullshit, horseshit lies of the highest order that you've just come out with. And it's actually honestly slanderous towards Mo. He absolutely has not signed a contract anywhere. Nothing has been done, and you're just shit stirring. So for that lie, off you pop, because it is a lie, and you know it's a lie. Any tips for cheaper tickets for home games? Last time, £300 per ticket. We had to pay £390 for the 2 tickets for the game Connor went over to recently. Per ticket, by the way. So, what? I think it cost us just €900 for 2 tickets. So, no, unfortunately, man, I don't have any tips. Yeah. And I'm not going to set foot back inside Anfield while FSG own the club unless things change in a big way. Not that that matters to anybody else, by the way. It's just, just a me decision. Benedict Kofi, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Right, we're close to 1,000 likes. We've got about 10-15 minutes left on tonight's stream. So if you can hit that like button for me, folks, please do. Let's see if we can get up to 1,000 on the stream. Does Jota also go in the summer? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I would say I wouldn't be expecting him to go in the summer, no. If you lose Darwin, I think you keep Jota around as the tried and tested Premier League centre forward, but you can't rely on him for fitness, but you know what he can do when he's available. So I think you don't make too many changes in that department where possible. So I think one out, and that one probably be Darwin, would be sensible. Who do I think will go? Darwin, and that's it. I think we bring somebody in, Darwin goes, front line stays as it is. I don't know what's going to happen with Jayden Danns longer term, whether it'll be another year on loan from or maybe straight back into the first team squad for next season. Let's wait and see how he gets on. Trent's the one I really struggle to figure out the most, because I can understand everybody's thoughts on it one way or the other. If people think he's staying, I can understand how people think that. If people think he's going, of course I can understand that as well. But what I just can't understand is the delay in it all and how we're still here. That's the part about Trent's situation I can't figure out. How about Tsimikas? I think he's likely to go over Robbo anyway. And I think that's the right decision. I would rather keep Andy Robertson at the club, even if we're using him sparingly, over Costas if we're bringing in a new left back. Definitely would be. I'd be going with selling Costas, yeah. I remember you made a video about Canade being lowballed. I think I more made the video about everybody being lowballed, if my memory's right. Because what we do know is that, until we get confirmation, by the way, on the other two, is that there's been a contract in front of everybody. Diaz, Canade, Virgil, Mo, Trent. We know they've all had offers, but none of them have taken the offers that we know of. So for me, I asked, why would that be? And the only reason I could come up with is that they were lowballed. Because I know Canade wants to stay. He said it. Loves the club. I think he's a future captain, for what it's worth. I absolutely love him. I think he's Virgil van Dijk's successor in a leadership form at the back. So I can only assume that they're just not happy with the numbers involved in it. That's my guess of the situation. No rumours, said Will. No drama. No news on Trent. He's going. I truly don't know. I know I feel like he's been a coward in not addressing it publicly. Again, that's just one man's opinion. I just find the whole thing very distasteful from everyone, to be honest, around the Trent situation. Because I've tried to do the benefit of the doubt thing, and I've run out of reasons to give it. You know, and I can only repeat myself. I understood he needed to know who the coach was. I understood he would have been disappointed when Jurgen announced he was going because of what a major influence Jurgen was on him. I understood that he wanted to see if we'd be challenging. But I think every question that I've put in my mind around Trent and what he needs to be assured of to stay has been answered or will have been addressed. So at this point, I can't think of any reasons for it not to have been sorted. And if you're somebody who thinks he's going to stay and it's a money thing, then come out and say that. I want to stay at the club, but the numbers aren't right yet. Cool. At least we know you still want to stay. I think whilst the silence is there, you can read into it that he's been respectful, of course. But you can also read into it that maybe he's playing both sides of the fence. And that uncertainty is, to me, cowardly. I can't be any more honest about it than that. I just don't know why he hasn't come out and said what he wants to do yet. And I know the word cowardly is a big word, but I think I'm right with it. I really feel like I'm right about it not being the right thing to not address it. Because I think the fans would be on side if they knew it was a number thing. Like, let's say Trent feels like his number is X amount and the club are away from that. All he has to say is, my priority is to stay at the club, but the numbers have to be right. And I think then everybody is behind Trent and goes, right, FSG, come on, pony up, get the dough out. But this way, it just feels like he's playing one off against the other. And what's best for him is absolutely fine. He's every right to look after his own interests. But as a fan, it's just leaving a sour taste for me. So, because I can't do a poll, give me thumbs up if you think Trent stays, thumbs down if you think Trent goes. Because I'm trying to gauge what you guys think. And obviously, with the poll not working for me at the minute on YouTube, I just want to get a thumbs up or a thumb down. So thumbs up if Trent stays, thumbs down if you think he's out the door. Right, let's see how this one pans out. Ooh. Okay. Keep voting, and thank you to everyone who's putting in their thumbs up or thumbs down. Yeah, I think there's definitely more thumbs down here. There is some thumbs up, but yeah, I think for every thumbs up, there's probably 3 thumbs down. And look, fair play to you either way. You know, sideways thumb for me. Yeah, I get that as well. Absolutely. Like, I'm this as well. Like, I'm in the middle. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I know I don't like the situation. I'm comfortable at saying that. But yeah, if you were to give me 50 quid to put a bet on here, I'm just not betting if I was in this situation. Trent doesn't rate your club. Cool. When did we start spelling doesn't? By the way, it's his club as well. You know, he's been a big part of it. So I think it's fair to say he holds our club close to his heart, whatever the situation is here. Anyone trying to say Trent doesn't care about Liverpool, I think is just silly. Of course he does. And I personally will have no animosity towards him if he leaves. None. I'll be sad about the way this has played out, but again, it's his career, it's his decision, it's his life to lead. I'm not going to go in on him either way. I would have preferred, if we ever did lose Trent, obviously for the club to receive a shitload of cash from him. That would have been the preference here, but I promise you there'll be no bitterness for me if he decides to go. It's, you know, it'll be just a sad situation. You guys understand Trent's on more than Alphonso Davies, Hakimi, Walker, Ben White. No, he's not. That's absolutely just not true. Trent's on less money than Alphonso Davies, 1,000,000%. Can you see us going for a Jamie Gittins in the summer? Certainly, we've been one of a whole host of clubs that have been linked with him. I think he came through City's Academy, if my memory's right. Obviously went on to Dortmund then, but yeah, lots of clubs, and we're definitely one of the ones who've been named as a club that are at least fond of Gittins, but I've no idea if that will come to anything, or if it's just going to continue to be one of those players whose name's been mentioned. You see the Isak rumours. I mean, I'd love them to be true, Tony. I really would. I mean, if you sold Darwin and brought in Isak, I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed in that. I think having Jota, Isak, and maybe, you know, a young, hungry Jayden Danns as options would be incredible. Incredible. But I'm not going to get my hopes up on Isak because it still feels very far-fetched for me, to be honest, but I'd love it to be right. And less money than Hakimi. He's on like 240, 250. I did know Hakimi's wage, that's why I didn't want to speak about that one. But yeah, Trent's on about 180, I think, based off the last numbers I'd seen. Aka Baka said, as a Swede, Isak would be incredibly are absolutely incredible. So I'm going to be honest here with you, right? When Isak signed for Newcastle and when Arsenal were linked with him, I didn't see it based off what I'd seen of him at Sociedad and with Sweden. I thought decent, but not amazing. I'm wrong. Very wrong. What I've seen of him at Newcastle, particularly when we played him. Do you remember that game? I think we scored a late winner. The one with all the time wasting with Newcastle, and we scored a late winner and they lost their shit over the stoppage time. If I remember correctly, Isak scored in that game, but I remember being blown away by him when we played against them and how much of a handful he's looked like. He's definitely a forward that can do it all. And I was wrong when I judged them when he was going to Newcastle because I didn't think he was going to cut the mustard, but he's the real deal. He really is. And if he can put some of the injury stuff behind him, he's going to bang in a shit ton of goals in the Premier League. So you also can't forget Trent's brother's agent. So if he moves to Madrid, his brother will receive a huge payday. That will be the case either way. So if Trent was to renew at Liverpool, or any player whose contract is up was to renew, you're going to get that signing on bonus. The same as you. I'm not saying it'll be the exact same number, but there will be a loyalty bonus payment, and the agent will still get paid. So either way, agents always win, is what I'm trying to say, regardless. What do I think about Alisson? He's 32. Look, 32 for a goalkeeper is nothing. You know, I would say there's another 5 years there at the top. But that being said, I don't know what's going on because I don't know what the plan is for Mamardashvili. Is he going to be the number one? Is he going to be competing with Alisson? Until we know that, it's hard to know what the story is going to be. Expect Keller has been sold in the summer. He'll have 1 year to go. The club will have to sell him. Yaros, not sure of. So yeah, I'd love to get clarification on what the plan is next year from Mamardashvili. So I won't be posting a recap video, J Muse, because I posted it early today. So there is a short video going through everything. We put it out at about 8:15 tonight. Because we wanted to also let people know we'd be streaming. So we put out the video about 8:15, so it's already up there. I think it's about 10 minutes long. So if you haven't and you wanted a recap, the video's there for you at your own leisure. And do give it a watch and let me know what you think. Super nervous about Arsenal. Yeah, I don't know if I'm on my own here, but I'm not at all concerned about Arsenal. In fact, I read an Echo piece today from John Aldridge, and I absolutely agree with John Aldridge because it's been what I've been saying as well. I don't worry about Arsenal or anybody else. I worry about us. We're going to win or lose this league. Nobody else. Arsenal can't do anything if we keep winning. And I think if we beat Everton, that's it. 9 points too much. It isn't going to happen. They're not catching us because they're going to drop points. So I agree with John Aldridge. We need to focus on us and worry about picking up our own points because we control our destiny. Arsenal have to hope for scraps. Arsenal have to hope for a wobble and then have to be able to capitalise on it. I don't think they will. So I'm pretty chilled about Arsenal's challenge for us, but I'll feel a lot more chilled if we were to beat Everton in the game in hand that's coming up next week. We beat Man City 2-0, Arsenal beat them 5-1. That is irrelevant though. You can't compare. It doesn't matter. What matters is the points. You can't say we beat this team by that, they beat that. It doesn't work like that. For Arsenal though, I will say that victory over Manchester City will give them a belief that they've arrived. Because their record against City has been horrendous. I think it was 1 win in 11. So they will certainly feel like that's been a moment for them. For me this season, that week where we played Real Madrid and Manchester City and beat them both, that was a big week for the season for us. Because it put a few things to bed. We finally got that victory over Madrid we've been waiting for. And we put Manchester City to the sword. Now I know we've got to play City again. And we have to play Arsenal. But I think the league will be wrapped up by the time we play Arsenal, personally. What do you think will happen on Thursday? I went 4-1 for my preview prediction, which again went out earlier on today if you get a chance to watch it. Yeah, 4-1. I think we beat them easily. Even if we concede first, I still think we go and beat them because I think their defence is too wide open. I think we've got too much firepower. We're at home. I just think we beat them. And I think if we score first, they fall apart. And the Arsenal game is at Anfield. Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine what they're going to walk into that day at Anfield? Yeah. They're not going to be just playing against 11 players that day. They're going to be playing against 11 players and an absolute will for Liverpool to win the league. Yeah, I agree. Right, look, I'm going to go and grab some food, and I will see you guys on Thursday for the watch along. Should have a news video on Thursday coming out beforehand, but the watch along will start from 6:45, so do come and join me for that. We'll have our watch along, match reaction, player ratings video. Tomorrow, unless we get a confirmation on these contracts 100%, will be my day off. But thank you again. Tonight was a great stream. I really did enjoy it and appreciate you guys coming in and having a laugh with me. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you. If you can, do drop a like before you head off. Hit that subscribe button, but have yourselves a wonderful day or two, and I will see you on Thursday where hopefully we can book a place in the League Cup final later on this season. Until then, folks, appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.